G'day everybody, I am Nick Haslam and this is Cosmic Surfers. Hopefully the audio is much better this time, the right one selected. Well, welcome to another episode. What I want to do today is, the name Cosmic Surfers comes from Hakim Awyan. It was a phrase that he used to use. So specifically Cosmic Surfers, that's really like the heart of where this comes from. So I wanted to tap into that and, sparked by a conversation recently as well. And I've fed a couple of Stephen Mehler's books into AI for a synthesis, a summary. He was the head student of Hakim Awyan. And then you have Patricia, formerly Awyan as well, because she was married to Yusuf, who is a son, who is a great sculptor as well. Works with stones, granite, a couple of carvings I've showed you guys before. He knows the advanced technology in stonework. And Patricia, I believe, is super knowledgeable on metaphysics and bringing it all together as well. But Stephen Mehler's written a couple of books, and so I wanted to outline what this information talks about. I also asked a couple of questions. Wanted to lay out the arguments with this in the tombs, and Hakim would say follow the water, and according to this as well. So. And that is one of the things I learned from Khemit is to look down, not only just up, or at the megaliths. So these guys are definitely way more well versed in this than me, but I have spent time there. I spent a week, for the work in Colorado, going that extra mile to learn what I could from Stephen. And then I've been to Egypt a couple of times and even did a one-on-one tour with Patricia as well. And really got that was a really great experience. And that's what I really value is being able to just really kind of dive into these things. So this is what I've got for now. So we're just going to do an AI reading, and then we're going to watch a video from Hakim himself that was uploaded by Brian Foster. So Khemit, Hakim, and Living Tradition. So this is just this from these two books, The Land of Osiris and From Light into Darkness. Again, this is done by AI. Stephen Mehler spent over 37 years researching ancient Egypt, but his most consequential work was not done in library. It was conducted in direct apprenticeship of Abdul Hakim Awyan, an Egyptian-born indigenous wisdom keeper from the village. Been a while since I've been over there, and even then, I'm not sure if I'd be up with the pronunciation, but yeah. Hazlet El Saman at the foot of the Giza Plateau. Mehler's two books together form a single extended argument that mainstream Egyptology has systematically misread ancient Egypt, and that the oral tradition preserved by Hakim's lineage holds the corrective key. The Land of Osiris 2001 lays the archaeological and geological foundation, the Per-Netters, and so they did. What I do know is that they didn't use vowels. So my understanding is that would be spelled P-R-N-T-R, Netter or Nectar. Aspects of nature, forces of nature is NTR. Pyramids as energy machines, the sphinxes to age, the ancient river system, the engineering feats, and the concept of Khemit as a civilization far older than any accepted date. From Light into Darkness in 2014 builds on this to explore why consciousness declined, how religion evolved as a replacement for direct spiritual awareness, and what Hakim's most profound teachings, that there is no time, no death, no separation, no soul, no God as a being, actually mean. And yeah, I'm going to agree with everything 100% as well. So just right there, like no time is also a concept that David Icke talks about. What we've learned from quantum physics is that it's an emergent property from the zero-point energy field. So while I understand about the linear time and past, present, future, and always being in the current state of the now and all of that, and then there's conversations around timelines and all that. The no time, I understand, like going into the non-dual. All is mine are kind of these like natural principles, but at the same time, I think no time's not sure I'm down with that one. But that's neither here nor there. This is what we're doing here is reading through what Hakim has said. So since 1992, I've been privileged to be a student of a master of the oral tradition of the indigenous people of Egypt, Abdul Hakim Awyan. Yes, I'm very drawn to this kind of style in general. As we've gone over in previous episodes. Together, these books introduce the disciple Mehler and Hakim coined chematology, not Egyptology. The distinction matters. Egyptology is a colonial academic discipline rooted in the 19th century paradigms of linear evolution, written records, and a dismissal of oral tradition. Chematology begins from the inside, from the living memory of the people themselves. And while I remember, I do want to throw in the Dogon and their star law because they need to be mentioned in here as well. And I know that we'll get into the 42 tribes and pygmies and things like that, but yeah, they need a special mention. Abdul Hakim Awyan, who he is, biography and standing. Was born into that village, the community that has lived in the shadow of the Giza Plateau for countless generations. He is described throughout Mehler's books as an indigenous wisdom keeper, an oral historian, a trained archaeologist, and a guide of exceptional depth. Mehler calls him a walking library. Hakim was not simply a local guide with interesting stories. He was the inheritor of a highly specific, internally consistent oral tradition passed through initiates across thousands of years. Crucially, Hakim was also formally educated and held credentials as an Egyptian archaeologist, meaning his challenge to mainstream Egyptology came from within the system, not merely from outside it. He was fluent in the ancient Khemitian language, could read hieroglyphs with an indigenous interpretive lens, and spent decades leading scholars, researchers, and seekers through the sites of Egypt with a trained eye by tradition rather than academic theory. Mehler first encountered Hakim in 1992, standing in front of the Sphinx. In that first meeting, Hakim calmly stated that the Sphinx, whom he called by her Khemitian name Tefnut, was over 52,000 years old, later refined to approximately 54,000 years for the beginning of carving. This single statement, delivered without fanfare, set the direction of Mehler's research for the next 2 decades. And as we also know, people like archaics will dispute things being that old, but that's a whole other story to itself. But there's a lot of books written that are going in the other direction as well as going older. So just to put that out there. The nature of his tradition. Hakim's tradition is explicitly oral. This is not simply a matter of technology or circumstance, it is a philosophical stance. Hakim, like the Taoist sage Lao Tzu, with whom Mehler opens his second book, is deeply skeptical of written records. His teaching is, if it had to be written down, it was not the whole truth. And this is where natural law, LORE, comes into it. This is not anti-intellectual. It reflects the understanding that living wisdom is transmitted through direct experience, presence, and relationship, not through text. Both need all the technology and we need all the solutions. This is where natural law, LAW, comes more into it as well. Not that that's specifically about books, but yeah, all of the above. Hakim's tradition was kept in tight circles of initiates for thousands of years, and he only began sharing it publicly because of what he calls the awakening. His recognition that we are now at the dawn of a new cycle, Kepper, and that the knowledge must now be seeded outward. 5 core teachings of Hakim. Mehler documents a progression in Hakim's teachings over the course of their relationship. Starting from 1992, each encounter deepened the framework. There is no time. The concept of past, present, and future is a human construct. Only the eternal now exists. No word for death existed in prehistoric Khemit. There is no death. Physical ending is not death, but westing, a change of form within continuous energy. The universe is forever vibrating. Energy is never created or destroyed. There is no separation. All things are interconnected. The universe is a unity. Distinctions between the physical and non-physical, between self and other, are illusory, compatible with both ancient Vedantism and modern quantum physics. There is no soul. Yeah, not sure if I'm with this one either. Not a denial of consciousness, but a rejection of individual soul as defined by the Hanuchi priest, who used fear of death and soul loss to create control systems. There is no individual I, only universal awareness. There is no God as a being, not atheism, rather the rejection of an anthropomorphic patriarch. Godness is a vibration, omnipresent, infinite, experience, not worshipped. Glyph Nefa, harmony, represents this, the throat and lungs, the area of sound production, which Hakim identifies as a location of spirit. Sing it into existence, speak it up. All right, these 5 teachings represent what Hakim sees as foundational understanding of the age of Aten, the golden age of full human consciousness before religion replaced direct spiritual experience. Hakim on language and translation. One of Hakim's most practically impactful contributions is his correction of Egyptological mistranslations. Several key examples run throughout both books. Netta, Egyptologists translate as God or goddess. Hakim and Swala de Lubis define it as aspect of consciousness, like a sense such as seeing or hearing. There were 360 main netters corresponding to the 360 degrees of a circle, representing the full range of human sensory and conscious faculty. Per netta, translated by Egyptologists as pyramid, Hakim translates it as house of nature, a machine, not a monument. The Greek word pyramidos, fire in the middle, preserved this meaning more accurately than modern Egyptological convention. Akhenaten, Egypts translate Ak as spirit, Hakim translates it as shade or shadow or reflection, making Akhenaten the shade/reflection of the wiser Aten. Nebtowi, a standard translation, Lord of the Two Lands, and apologies for mispronouncing stuff. Hakim's translation, precious of all lands, eliminating the artificial political division. Tefnut, the name Hakim uses for the Sphinx. In standard Egyptology, she is associated with moisture. In Hakim's tradition, Tefnut is a form taken by Nut, the sky cosmos, when she manifested physically. The limestone outcropping that became the Sphinx. Pyramids, not tombs, the evidence. The core arguments. The claim that the Egyptian pyramids are royal tombs is one of the most persistent assumptions in popular culture and academic Egyptology. Mehler, drawing on Hakim's oral tradition, the engineering research of Christopher Dunn, and his own observations, presents a layered case that the Great Pyramid structures, particularly those on the land of Osiris, gridline from Dashur to Abu Rosh were never built as tombs and were never used as such. Key commission term Perneta, again, which is PRNTR, often written Pernetas equals House of Nature or House of the Divine Principle. This is the indigenous commission term for pyramid. It indicates a functional structure, a house for a natural force or process, not a monument to dead royalty. The term Egyptologists use derived from the Greek pyramidos, fire in the middle, and also supports this reading. Evidence 1, no bodies, no inscriptions. The most basic argument is the absence of evidence for burial. No pharaonic mummy has ever been found inside the Great Pyramid. No burial goods, no canopic jars, no personal effects of any king have been discovered in the structure. The so-called King's Chamber contained only a lidless rectangular box labelled a sarcophagus by Egyptologists, but Mehler states this box was erroneously assigned that function. It shows no inscription, no decoration, no evidence of having ever held a royal body. Equally significant, no inscriptions appear inside the Great Pyramid. This is extraordinary in a culture that covered every surface of temples, tombs, and monuments with hieroglyphic text. The later pyramids, built by the dynastic Egyptians who did use pyramids as tombs, are densely inscribed. The so-called pyramid texts appear in dynastic structures from the 5th and 6th dynasties onward. The contrast suggests the Giza complex is from a fundamentally different era and tradition. Evidence 2, Perneta as functional machine. The primary alternative function proposed by Mehler and Christopher Dunn, author of the Giza Power Plant, is that the Great Pyramid was an energy-producing machine, specifically a resonance device that used the Earth's natural vibrational frequencies and flowing water to produce hydrogen gas for energy output. Hakim's oral tradition independently supports this. The ancient commissions designed the Pernetas on the grid line to be in harmonic resonance with the Earth and each other, harnessing geophysical energy. Dunn's engineering analysis focuses on several key structural features that make no sense as tomb architecture. The Grand Gallery, a soaring corbelled hall 28 feet high inside the pyramid. Then an extraordinary engineering feat with no parallel in actual tomb design. Dunn identifies rectangular slots on its side ramps as holders for Helmholtz resonators that amplified acoustic energy. The King's Chamber shafts, 2 narrow shafts pointing precisely towards specific stars. In Dunn's model, these served as resonance conduits. In a tomb, they would serve no functional purpose. The descending passage precision. Petrie measured the 350-foot descending passage and found it deviated only a quarter inch across its entire length. This level of engineering precision far exceeds what any tomb builder would require. The stone box dimensions. The rectangular box in the King's Chamber is precisely the same width as the ascending passage, suggesting it was placed there during construction, not installed as a burial chamber. Evidence 3, physical damage from an ancient explosion. Mehler presents what he considers the most dramatic physical evidence, signs of an ancient catastrophic explosion inside the Great Pyramid itself, which he and Dunn linked to the global cataclysm of approximately 9500 BC. Petrie first observed in the 1880s, or by the way, as some of you may have picked up, there's been a lot that has been squashed into that period of time, so we do have to reinvestigate that further, specifically that period of time, because it seems to be a lot that just keeps getting going into the Younger period. So yeah, we can dive further into that in the future too. Petrie first observed in the 1800s that the granite beams in the King's Chamber ceiling were cracked and that the chamber walls bulged outward over an inch. He attributed this to an ancient earthquake. Mehler and Dunn challenged this, noting that if an earthquake had caused the King's Chamber damage, There should be similar damage in the descending passage and subterranean chamber, which are closer to any hypothetical quake epicenter. There is none. In 1999, Dunn made a further discovery. The upper wall of the Grand Gallery, previously believed to be limestone, was granite, and it is heavily blackened and discoloured, as if subjected to extreme heat. This discoloration penetrated stone. It was not surface residue. In 2001, Dunn found scorch marks in the Grand Gallery ceiling directly above rectangular slots where resonators were mounted, suggesting that the resonator devices may have exploded. Solar flare, anyone? Should I sign across Egypt? I now state that all the walls of the King's Chamber, the famous stone box therein erroneously labelled a sarcophagus by Egyptologists, are all greatly darkened and not the original colour of the Aswan rose quartz granite. Which I do have made sculptures from. Mehler extended this damage survey to other sites. At Abu Roash, 5 miles north of Giza, a pyramid stands in complete ruin. Egyptologists say it was never finished or was quarried. Mehler and Hakim investigated in 2003 and found evidence of an explosion, not quarrying. At Dashur, the bent pyramid, unique for using 2 angles producing 2 different sonic frequencies, shows its corners apparently blown off, not quarried, with loose stone still lying around the damage zone. Mehler asked if Arab quarrymen had taken the stone, why leave so many loose blocks? Evidence for structural antiquity, the Giza grid line. Hakim's oral tradition. Hakim's oral tradition places the construction of the pyramids on the land of the Osiris grid line, Ashur to Abu Roash. I'm just wondering if I just misremembered that word or was misspelled. That's what I was listening to that for. Between 25,000 and 15,000 years ago. The Great Pyramid itself, he states, was constructed in 3 stages over thousands of years. This dating, if accepted, immediately explains the absence of dynastic inscriptions. The pyramids predate the entire dynastic period. Mehler supports this through what he calls sequence dating by style rather than linear progression. He observes that the great megalithic structures of Giza, massive precision-cut granite blocks with no inscriptions, represent an obviously earlier engineering tradition than the later dynastic sandstone temples covered with reliefs. The step pyramid at Saqqara, which Hakim dates around 4000 BC, earlier than Egyptologists place it, but still thousands of years after Giza, is constructed of far smaller limestone blocks and was faced with mud brick, obviously inferior. The standard academic narrative would have us believe the later Egyptians forgot how to build as well as their predecessors. The Khemitian tradition inverts this. The great megalithic structures were built at the height of consciousness. As consciousness declined, building capacity declined. The geology supports this alternative timeline as well. Robert Schoch's analysis of the Sphinx enclosure, showing water erosion patterns consistent with thousands of years of heavy rainfall, and again, I beg to dispute that, has never been satisfactorily refuted by mainstream Egyptology. The last time that region of Egypt saw such rainfall was well before 5000 BC, pushing the Sphinx's origin back to a minimum 7000 BC and possibly much earlier. And I think there were, saying around 30,000 years, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I'm actually playing conservative there. Evidence 5, the 5 has a linguistic framework. Hakim taught Mehler the ancient Commission classification of 5 types of structures, pers or houses, each with a distinct function. This taxonomy itself constitutes evidence that the pernetters were not designed as tombs. The high house, the origin of the word pharaoh, the administrative center. Ka, the origin of the tomb, the Ka personality, etheric double required a house after the body's death. This is the actual funerary structure. Perba, the origin of the temple, house of the spirit soul, sacred gathering place. Perneta, the origin of the word pyramid, house of nature, divine principle, energy machine, functional, not funerary. Perweir, house of the wise man, teacher, an early university found in the temple of Horus at Edfu. This classification makes the distinction explicit. Per Ka is a term, per netta is not. If Hakim's linguistic framework is accurate, the Egyptological labeling of per netta's terms is a fundamental category error. Origins and oral history, Khemit. What is Khemit? Khemit is the name used in Hakim's oral tradition for what we call ancient Egypt, but the term encompasses far more than the dynastic civilization, approximately 3100 to 30 BC, that Egyptology studies. Khemit refers to an indigenous African civilization with roots stretching back at least 65,000 years by Hakim's reckoning, in continuous cyclical development. The modern Arabic term for Egypt, al-Khem, preserves its name and is also the direct source of the word alchemy. The Commission tradition does not recognize the artificial boundaries Egyptology imposes. There was no Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt as fundamentally separate political entities in ancient times. Hakim translates Neb Toi as precious of all lands, not lord of the two lands. It was all Khemit. The political division was a later dynastic construction. The 5 stages of the sun, a cyclical model of history. At the core of the Commission oral tradition is a model of history based not on linear progress, but on cycles. Hakim identifies 5 stages or ages, named the positions of the sun across a day. They represent both stages of consciousness and epochs of human civilization. Kepa, dawn, the driller, symbolized by the scarab beetle, birth of consciousness, the beginning of a new cycle. I have a scarab beetle in lapis lazuli. Ra, noon, the stubborn, symbolized by the ram, adolescent or the early stage consciousness, bold, forceful, not yet mature. Un, early to mid-afternoon, developing maturity and wisdom, a transitional flowering. Aten, late afternoon to twilight. The wiser, the pinnacle of consciousness, the golden age where all humans were in full awareness, civilizations flourished globally, and communication was telepathic. Amen, night, darkness. The hidden consciousness at its lowest, the age of religion, control, fear, separation, the age we're now ending. Hakim places the age of Aten as occurring well over 10,000 years ago, a time of global advanced civilization. The age of Amen has been dominant for approximately the last 5,000 to 6,000 years. Hakim's entire public mission and the raison d'etre, don't know that one actually, for Mehler recording these teachings is to announce the beginning of a new Kepa, the awakening, the dawn of a new 65,000 year major cycle. The Age of Aten. What the Golden Age looked like. Hakim's description of the Age of Aten is specific and radical. At that time, according to the oral tradition, there was no written language, not because people were primitive, but because writing was unnecessary. Consciousness was so fully developed that communication was mind-to-mind, telepathic. Sound was sacred, used only for chanting, singing, and practical purposes such as pyramid construction and healing, not for ordinary speech. Unity consciousness prevailed. People understood the interconnectedness of all things, what modern quantum physics is now demonstrating scientifically. Advanced civilization existed globally, not only in Khemit but across the planet, accounting for why remnants of highly sophisticated megalithic cultures are now being discovered worldwide. There was no concept of death, only Westing. Change of form, no religion, no priesthood, no institutional control structure, only direct spiritual experience. The Pernettas were built during this age, which is why they require a level of consciousness and engineering far beyond anything documented in the dynastic period. the global cataclysm of 9500 BC, the oral tradition aligned with the geological and archaeological research of Alan Delam and Barbara Hand-Clough, identifies a catastrophic global event around 9500 BC as the pivot point between the Age of Aten and the descent into the Age of Armand. Hakim describes this as a cyclical natural event, not supernatural punishment that has occurred many times in planetary history. The effects in Khemit were dramatic. The Great Urnil, an ancient river system, second Nile, I'm sure my memory of how Mehler described it, began to disappear. Rainfall ceased in northern Africa. The Libyan and Saharan deserts began to form. The Pyrenees were physically damaged, Mehler's explosion hypothesis, and massive migration of Commission peoples began, dispersing across the Middle East, Central Asia, Far East, and the Mediterranean. The psychological impact was as significant as the physical. Humans who survived the cataclysm were left traumatized in collective fear, no longer trusting nature as the abundant mother. Nature became something to be controlled and appeased. This is Barbara Hand-Clough's thesis, that the catastrophe left an indelible scar on the human psyche that produced the Neolithic shift, agriculture, domestication, city-states, and eventually formal religion. Hakim said that the most recent global cataclysm was a natural cyclical event that occurs with a regular periodicity to signal the forthcoming end of a profound age. How religion was born, Hakim's account. After the cataclysm, people became obsessed for the first time with what happened after physical death, something that had simply not been a concern of in the Age of Aten, where death was not a concept, a class, was not a concept. A class of individuals, the early shamans who would become the Hanuti priests, maintained high levels of consciousness through various practices. Psychoactive plants, blue lily, anyone? Psychoactive plants, chanting, breathing rituals, and alchemical processes. They were able to perceive that consciousness continued beyond the body. The Hanuti then made a fateful choice. Rather than sharing this knowledge freely, they used it as a control mechanism. They created the fear of death and judgment to bind people to their system, feast days and ritual protocols to bring people to temples and consolidate their power, the concept of the jackal as a destroyer of the body that prevents reincarnation. Hakim identifies the glyph Mesu, 3 jackal skins, as saying, the jackal is dead, the jackal is dead, the jackal is dead, to guarantee protection. An alliance with ruling families, creating the template of clergy plus royalty that has persisted for 5,000 years. Hakim's one-sentence summary of religion, it means to bind together. And the very need to bind implies we were no longer together. Mark Cassio, anyone? Yep, that's the original definition. Natural law seminar. Religion is the institution that arose when direct spiritual experience was lost, attempting to fill the gap through controlled, mediated access. 42 tribes, the Sesh, and indigenous identity. Hakim's tradition holds that Khemit was originally organized into 42 tribes, the Sesh, meaning the people. This number is deeply encoded in Commission culture. 42 judges of Osiris, 42 declarations of the negative confession, 42 pieces of Osiris in the oldest versions of the Osiris Set myth, 42 steps of temple staircases. Hakim sees this number as reflecting the original social and political structure of prehistoric Khemit. Critically, Hakim insists that the ancient commissions were indigenous Africans. The civilization was not built by extraterrestrials, Atlanteans, or any foreign people, a position he holds firmly against both mainstream Egyptology, which downplays African sophistication, and certain alternative theories, which attribute monuments to the outside agency. The builders were the ancestors of the people who have always lived there. The Sphinx as Tefnut and her true age. Hakim's teaching about the Sphinx is among the most specific pieces of the oral tradition Mehler records. The Sphinx was carved from a natural limestone outcropping that the ancient Khemitians had been gathering at thousands of years before carving even began, to energize themselves from the subtle energy field of the site. The outcropping was considered a manifestation of Nut, the sky, the cosmos, coming into physical form. Above, so below, and that's really when we're starting to create on a fractal level of how to phrase it properly, aligned on a natural law level as a fractal all the way through a co-creative process where big things in that way. Hakim calls the Sphinx by the name Tefnut, the female knitter of moisture. He places the beginning of the carving process at approximately 54,000 years ago and the beginning of the current major commission cycle at approximately 65,000 years ago. These dates are given not as precise calendar markers, which Hakim rejects as a quantitative bias, but as the oral tradition's consistent approximations. Hakim also adds a specific correction about the Sphinx's appearance. He states the monument was amended by King Tutmos IV, masculinized through the addition of a false beard and altered features to transform Tefnut into Haram Akhet, Horus on the horizon. This false beard has since fallen off. A piece of it has been preserved in the Cairo Museum. Akhenaten, Moses and the Great Rupture. Hakim's reading of Akhenaten. Akhenaten is a central figure in both books, and Hakim's view of him differs radically from both mainstream Egyptology and most alternative treatments, where Egyptologists tend to portray Akhenaten as a religious fanatic who disrupted Egypt's stability. Hakim and the indigenous wisdom keepers of Egypt revere him as a great master and an important part of their oral tradition. Hakim translates Akhenaten's name as the shade, shadow, reflection of the wiser Aten, casting him not as a monotheist revolutionary, but as someone who had achieved a higher state of consciousness and was attempting to restore awareness of the age of Aten. He was not inventing a new religion. He was trying to recover a lost one, or more precisely, to return people to the direct spiritual experience that predated all religion. Welcome to Cosmic Surfers. Welcome to Natural Law LORE and Natural Law LAW. Hakim notes that Akhenaten had disdained the common religion of Osiris and the afterlife as promoted by the Amun priesthood. Significantly, none of the tombs cut at his city of Akhenaten, Amarna, were ever occupied. There is no evidence of mummification during his reign. His followers did not require the elaborate funerary industry that the Himiti had built their power on. The Exodus as the Amun priest chasing the Atenians. Hakim's tradition on the Exodus is unequivocal. It was not a story of enslaved foreigners escaping. The original Hebrews were indigenous Khemitians, part of the 42 tribes, not a separate Semitic people. The Exodus was the Amun priests driving the Aten followers of Akhenaten out of Khemit. The Vizier Ra-Masu is identified by Hakim as the primary historical figure behind the Moses mythology. Hakim showed Mehler the tomb of Ramoses at Amarna, which includes reliefs showing 12 tribes, which Hakim identified as 12 of the original Khemitian tribes who had become Atenists and would later become the 12 tribes of Israel. This is also connected to star law, indigenous law, in Australia and around the world. Hakim translates Israel as Israel, the slaves or servants of El. El was a Semitic name for God, connecting the Atenists Khemitians with Semitic Babylonian traditions after their dispersal. The fusion of these traditions over approximately 100 years produced what we know as Judaism. Okay. And so that is a synthesization of Stephen Mehler's books and Hakim's work, and I got it to answer a couple of questions there. And so now we're going to watch, this is going to be a watch along now. We're going to hear directly from Hakim. Hakim is no longer alive. Yeah, and I just want to reiterate, I feel very strongly about these oral wisdom traditions. This is why I'm pushing for natural law LORE as well as natural law LAW. I think that we are able to tell a lot from this wisdom. And so yeah, without further ado, here is Hakim Awyan.
In the shadow of the Sphinx when I first saw him. And I looked at him, and I looked at her, and I looked at him. And without offense, it was hard to determine who was older. Or who represented an older wisdom.
And of course, thank you for Brian Forrester for uploading this video.
But what she said to me was, this is the man you have been seeking. This is the tradition you have been searching for. Dr. Abdel Hakim Awyan.
One little tidbit is it's my understanding that Stephen is also high up in Rosicrucianism, and he was not a proponent of the drip-feeding of the knowledge. This is an FYI, some background.
Is an archaeologist, a chematologist, Egyptologist, with 50 years field experience in his own land. He is an internationally known healer and man of peace, recognized by many keepers of many indigenous traditions as an elder. He is co-author with his magnificent soul partner, Karina Bryan, of the soon-to-be published book, Egypt and the Awakening, Insights of an Egyptian Adept, to be published by Barron Company, hopefully in the spring of 1999. Put it on your lists. It is the first time an indigenous-born Egyptian is speaking about the ancient ways. Up until now, all the Egyptian Egyptologists have been teaching Egyptology, taught from Western universities. It is the first time you are hearing an indigenous teacher teaching chematology. So without further ado, to waste none of your time, I give you my teacher, my master, my brother, and my friend, Dr. Abdel Hakim Awyan, were the great and the respected Hakim.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you. Saman is the name of the village now. Saman is the name of the village where I live. And it's just one of many villages in Abu Sir, Bouwizir. And in my childhood, I used to play guard. This was the ruins around the Sphinx and the pyramids. Excavation was done by Dr. Reisner. I was 7 years old. And the favorite place I used to play is in this area, where I can swim in the tunnels below the Sphinx and play and stare on the walls, want to know what's written up there by the ancient Sufi language, which is today known as hieroglyphics. Suf, that's the name of the language we used to speak, and it's still there, still alive. If I want to speak about Khemit, or the Black Land, I may describe, starts from the third cataract in the south, in Cretan islands and the Mediterranean. And that is considered by the historian that the oldest empire in history. As you know, the Nile, or the Nir, ended with R. If you take the first chapter of Nairobi, Nir, that's the name of the river. And the river you see today, it's not the oldest, but there are other beds of the river. I'm coming here to speak about the Khemit and the pyramids, as I've been told. And I want to say that the pyramid is a Greek name. The meaning is what stands on the horizon. But as my friend says that there are a lot of names, Perneter is the pyramid you're seeking to know about. There are Perneter, Per-Ba, that's the house of spirit, Per-Ka, and that's the tombs, and Per-A, and that's the place of the woman ruler, Per-A, which is the Greeks break it down into Pharaoh, Pharaoh. To go to the mythology at the side, which is matriarcha, we consider that the sky is the woman Nut in the day and Mut at night. The earth was Jib, and he is the earth god, God. I may draw here the Egyptian vision. This is Jib. This is Nut. Nut's supposed to be a woman. These are the hands, the head, the breast, the legs. This is East. It's the birth channel. First stage of the sun. It's known as sunbirth, pronounced Sarah. Sa-Ra, the birth of Ra. First stage. And it was symbolized in the form of Khipper, the scarab. Why? Because the scarab is hermaphrodite insect, and you can't address it as boy or a girl. It's just a child. And that is the first stage of the day, the morning stage. When the Khipper, they make the journey and come with the woman's navel, that's Ra, R-A. Can you see? R-A, okay? And Ra, by the Khemitians, is a ram-headed god, human figure, but ram-headed. Why? Because ram is stubborn,
move this a little bit this way, we could get in the light.
Fine. Thank you. Can you see now? I will talk loud if you like. That's Ra stage. Second stage. Now, third stage, below the breast, is Un. The wise. The one not anymore stubborn, but the one who gives a second thought. The fourth stage is Etten, the wiser. Three beams of light. And Etten is the name you know today through the biblical, through the Old Testament Bible, is Aton, Aton, or Adon, Adonai. That's how we call it today. The last stage, or the fifth stage, when the son swallowed by the mother to continue the cycle, and that's Amen. Amen. Amen means, you can call it Amen, Amun, Amen, the same thing. And means the veiled, the hidden. Yeah? So 5 stages makes the famous the star. Jib is the man.
Pentagram in the sky.
So you have 5 different stages, and this is the 5 stages of the sun, which makes the day. When the sun is swallowed by Nut, she's not anymore Nut, she is Mut. Mut, that's woman goddess, and maybe the Greeks have used the same name with a different way of pronouncing. Mort, heaven, the morto. Yeah. So these are the 5 stages of the sun, were the basis of the Egyptian mythology. In Am stage, where the Hanut begin to take care of what we call the death. We have no word the death in our language. We have westing, that he's heading to the west. There's no word the death. Of course, the word death is the duality to word life. So life and death is duality for being, or for this life and the other life. In Egyptian mastabas, we have the texts in the late period written by the Hanut to describe what you see in the other life. And we know that to be prepared for other life, you have to pay part of the harvest. We know that the river flood once a year, so that means 1 crop a year. Almost half of this crop goes to the temple as an advance price for a decent burial, to be able to be resurrected. So resurrection is the base of the other life in me. Got that? So, Khipr, Ra, Un, Aten, Aman. 5 stages. And the life in Egypt is on agriculture. In Khemit, that's, you explain, the word Egypt is Het Kapta, and the Greeks use the Hegyptos. But in the ancient time, the word Khemit still used, and Perneter is the word for the pyramid. So Per is the word house. On the text of the walls of the mastabas, you see the promises of the resurrection. how you're going to do the dark journey into the resurrection, and whom you want to be introduced to, and that's Anubis. Anub is a jackal. To speak about the jackal, take you back where the tomb has a primitive form, like an egg shape, not very deep underground, covered with tree leaves. And that was easy for such animal to break into the this tomb and damage the inside. So fear is from that animal, the jackal, Anu. When man knows how to make bricks and deal with a stone, then the tomb took a strong form, and the jackal cannot break into the stone. And that's why the word birth or rebirth is it goes like this. This is the word rebirth. You find it in all the titles of the what we call pharaohs, like Ra-Mesu, the rebirth of Ra, Ramses. It's not a name, it's just a title. I know that there are no names written on the walls of the tombs or temples, it's just titles related to the disk of the sun. And this is 3 jackal skin. And here to confirm the death of Anubis. Jackal is dead, jackal is dead, jackal is dead, 3 times. Yeah, and that means no more fear. You will be protected by the Hanut to prepare you to the other side of the Badan. Now, we know that the Khipr, it takes the form of the human skull, like that. These are the light opener, the eyes, and what you receive either go into either side of this. This is the consciousness side here, and this is the subconsciousness side. What we see, to absorb it, it's done. But if you don't, you receive it or save it in your subconsciousness side, that can be said. That's the Khipr, and it shows them. And of course, the word Khipr, it's an ancient Khemitian word, means the scarab. And the scarab is a driller, and it symbolizes the childhood or the birth of the sun. Yeah. Now, if we go back to Khipr, I say roughly 65,000 years. It's the stage of Khipr. And then 30,000, correct? And then 15,000, 12,000 years, yes. And then this is Etten, the stage of ripeness, ripehood. And there, it's from that time down to Ammon. It's from 6,000 years BC till today. It's the cycle of coming to another cycle, coming back to the light, circling here. The history of Egypt, or Khemit, it's taught by the Europeans, and I know that there are many confusing of looking at the names and the. I have list of names of pyramids here, which appear in this period here. The perinatus is what we call Jedefra, that's Abrawash, Yeah? And Kha'if Ra, it's all related to Ra. And then Seneferu, that's Dashur. And Khemit, that's Saqqara. And this is the stage where Ptah exists. Ptah. You heard of Ptah? The blue-headed god? And there is another pyramid which is very rare who know about. It's Atrib, Tel Atrib, little north from Abu Rawash, about 7-8 kilometers to the north. And if we go to Abu Sir, there is Sahara, and then Abu Gharab. And of course, at Giza, the famous Great Pyramid of Khufu. So these names, it's the names we think is for pharaohs, but actually it is titles related to the stages of the sun. I have 63 names of pyramids. I can read it for you. The pyramid of Titi, Khoi, Nebhatra, Amenhat, Senusert, Amenemhatu, Senesertu, and Amenemhat III that located in Hawara. Hawara is a place at Fayoum. Fayoum is a semi-oasis about 80 kilometers south of Giza, southwest of Giza. And Khepreger, and the non-complete pyramid that has no name. And then there are pyramids in Mazghuna and Al-Khoro and the mountains of Rakal and Nuri, that is way in the south, where it's Kush is. And Marwa pyramids, that is in the first cataract behind Aswan. Now, if I describe Khemit in the ancient days, it starts with two names, Aswan, and it's not the city name, it's titled to where the source of water, Aswan. And then the other end of the river is Asyut, where the water ends. So you may see the word As is repeated here. Aswan, Asyut, Asgat. Yeah? And the group of pyramids located at Giza and known pyramids at Giza, there are 10 pyramids. The latest one, of course, you know, the Cheops, Khafren, and Makarins. And there is another 6 small ones in the late 1950s. Dr. Salim Hassan found another pyramid known by his name, the fourth pyramid, it says. And then the Abu Sir pyramids, there are 5 from First Dynasty, and the Saqqara pyramids, and there are 2 sections, the north of Saqqara and the south of Saqqara. And then the group of Dashur, we know the Red Pyramid and the Pin Pyramid. And then the other pyramid of rebels, you saw it with Stephen. And the pyramids of Mazghuna, and then the group of Mazghuna, they are 7. And another group of Lisht, and 4. And then the group of Maidum, there are 3. And another group, which is known as Usirkaf, Sahara, New Sera, and the rest of 63 pyramids known at the area. Now, it's the 3 different pairs, you know, Per-A, that's the house where the woman ruled, and then Per-Ka, and that's the tomb, and Per-Neter, this is where the energy is there, and Per-Ka, Per-Ba, and that's the temples. Of course, temples, it's not the original name for the Per-Ba, but there are some pyramids are Per-Ba, and there are construction known as temples that you see in Luxor, like Karnak Temple, Phila Temple in Aswan, Abydos Temple of Osiris in Abydos, and a big number of temples all along the Nile. The locations of these constructions haven't been chosen by someone, which is, we can mention the name, but it has been chosen by the nature of people. They walk to what they feel energy is, and they spend the time there. But later on, the Hanuts come and make not a fence, but a gate, like 2 columns, and this is where you go into the perba. And to go into the perba, you have to pay piece of bread, like toll, to drive through the roads. And this is how the temples of Egypt are considered as the richest constructions in the world by the people. The calendar of which is considered as the oldest calendar, it is based on the flood of the river. It's divided in 12. 30 times 12 makes 360, and that is the days of the year, except 5 uncounted days, and that is considered as the festival days, where everybody go into the temple and have the food of the temple, which is cooked food. The Khemitians live on the raw food all the year around, except in these festival 5 days. They go into the temple where they can do the initiation and have cooked food, wine, and beer. Yeah. In the temple of Philae, you can still see the building as alley, as a Sphinx alley, and then the big pylon. It's 2 towers connected as a door to go in, and then right behind the pylon comes the ramp, which is for public, for people. And further, you have another a smaller pylon for the other class of people, those who knows. They go in, and this is what we call the hip steel hall, the hall of columns. And those for the healers and those intelligence who deal with people and solve problems. And further in, it's what you know as Holy of Holies. It's a small building, the lowest building and the smallest building in the temple contain the image of the knitter. The image of the knitter, this place, this is the particular place, it's a source of energy, where people in the early days can gather there by nature. Nobody showed them the way, but it's dragged by the nature to heal or to be there for a comfortable place. The Holy of Holies, it's 2 big rocks of stone, one laying on each other, and describe it in, like this. Another one. If we take this line as the level of the ground, the one rock goes like this, another rock goes like this. So 2 rocks. In the center is the triangle, which the source of energy. The Hanuts come with a fence like this, and this is where you have to go in and do the initiation of energizing. Later on, more walls, and that is the hall of the columns, hip steel hall, the Greeks call it. And later, another one. Yeah, and that is where the main pylon here, decorated by 2 huge statues for the knitter, or for, you see, cartouches written on, related to the sun god. In front, the alley can be Sphinx alley or Ram alley, supposed to be 42, facing each other. And that is the symbol of the 42 tribes, which makes Egypt. So that's how is the temple. This part is the Holy of Holies. And of course, when you visit any temple today, you don't see these rocks because the ground grows and this is already under the ground. But the Holy of Holies is a chapel where you see a teriad of 3 images of gods. And that's in Ammon, it is the Mut, Ammon, and Khons. Mut is the child, Ammon, and Mut. Like in Christianity, Father and Son and Holy Ghost is the same thing. It's where the Holy of Holies is. That's the form of the temple in ancient Egypt, and there is nowhere the temple. This were inherited by others, non-Egyptians, non-Khemitians. So it's known as the Pirba. The Sphinx is one of these Pirbas. She's a woman. The oldest name, as far as I know, is Tifnut. Yeah, Tif is the word spit, and it symbolized the goddess of the sky on the earth. And it was in water, a big, huge fresh water, and you still can see the walls of the ancient lake where our house is located. Yes, thank you. Shukran. So that's the Perba, one of the Perbas. The Sphinx is a Greek name. We don't know what it means. Even the Greeks, I asked a Greek scholar from Athens University, say, what's the word the Greek? What's the word Sphinx mean? He say, it's a slang word, maybe like in America you say super. Yeah, it's a word. It's a word super. So the fact is that Sphinx has the same image as a woman for a long time, till the New Kingdom. There were mendemation under the name of restoration. Yeah. To mend the Sphinx, from they turned the head into a man's head, and they support it with beard, long bended beard. And to speak about beards here, there are 3 different types of beards in Khemitian culture. The long bended one, that's the knitter. That's what we call gods. And the straight one is the Horus, Hor, the man of the house. I want to tell you, the woman of the house, her name, or her title is Hatur, Hat Hor, the place of Horus, the place of man. And Hor is the long straight beard. Now, this little short one is the people who are not average people, the people with wisdom. They have a beard that describes the architects, the engineers, the physicians. So the Sphinx beard was added around 1400 BC, the mendemation or restoration of Thutmose IV. And you see that the beard was attached to the chin, was attached to the chin of the Sphinx, by a statue standing beneath the beard and at the pose of the Sphinx. And as you know, she is one piece of stone facing east. As you say, it's not just facing the sun, it's facing other planets. And right beneath the Sphinx is water. And this was my playing yard in the ancient days. I used to go, you've seen in the picture, the tail of the line. And I used to go and dive there and reach in the other side. And till now, in my dreams, I go and play like the old days. Many symbols of Hathor. If we say Hathor, then the duality is Khemit, the lioness head and body of woman. And Khemit comes with Ptah, the triad of Memphis. Memphis is Min Nefer, and the Greeks pronounce it Memphis. Men Nefer, the harmony of men, and that's the god of fertility, you know, the phallus. And the female aspect for Ptah is Khemit, and the child is Nefertom. Now, Tom here, Nefer we know means the harmony, but Tom is the, no change for the name, is the atom, the ray of the disk of the sun. And these triads goes on all along the valley, which is 42 tribes and different provinces. Memphis was the oldest capital of Egypt, and the second capital was Waset, the city of Seth. Now Seth make me speak about Osiris, the theory of Osiris and Isis, Seth and Nephthys. This is when the Hanut come with that story that the disk of the sun is the eye, and the eye to be the guardian, not to make Nut comes to Jeb, otherwise something will happen, the change. And that has happened in the myth of the Egyptian mythology. 4 children, 2 girls and 2 boys. The Osiris, Isis, and Seth and Nephthys. Once was Seth and Nephthys the good guy in Egyptian myth in the very ancient days, 15,000, maybe 20,000. Later comes when the people hear, attack the others, and then the good one turn into bad one, and the opposite. So you have 4 of them: Seth and Nephthys, and Osiris, and Isis. Isis is the chair. Yeah, I'll put it here. That's Isis. And you see this on a woman figure on the head. This is the woman of the house. And when man begin to write the language, the feminine T added into Izet. That's to. And then another form is the egg. So that is the symbol of Isis, the woman of the house. And from Isis and Osiris comes Horus, and Hathor. And from Hathor and Horus comes Aha, or Ihi. Yeah. As 42 different tribes, there are 42 different symbols of knitters all along the valley. Help me, what? Tell me. So.
Why is the line
So cool. When the temple become very rich and strong, you see the story of, there are 2 stories of Isis and Osiris. One say that Seth, the bad guy, murdered his brother cut him in 42 pieces and throw him all over the valley. And the phallus was swallowed by a fish, and this fish is dated in a tribe in Nubia called the Matukis. And this fish, which is used afterwards as in Christianity, as a symbol for Christianity, is swallowed by the fish, and the fish is with the Nubians and the Nubian tribe, the Matukis. The other story, for the same aspect, it says that Seth trapped his brother and making very fancy sarcophagus made of gold and inlaid with semi-precious stones, but it doesn't fit him. So gathering and say, thou who fits in this sarcophagus, it can be taken. So Osiris, he just go and lay in there, and he was trapped by putting the lid on and throw him in the Nile. And the Nile take the sarcophagus into the Mediterranean and landed somewhere in Phoenicia, and that's Lebanon. Yeah, politically, the commissions can say Lebanon is part of commission land. It's a political. So when religion turn into politician, this is the result of today all over the world. I have much to say, but I don't know why. And I would like you to do this prayer with me, being spiritual. Please, everybody, say with me. After, take a deep breath. Exhale. Another one. Exhale. Another one. Exhale. Now say with me. The light surrounds me.
The light surrounds me.
The light comes through me.
The light comes through me.
I am the light.
I am the light.
Good. So it's good and it's done. So be it. Alhamdulillah. Questions now, if you like. Yes.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to know about. Okay. I want to know about. Is it on? Okay. I would like to know, sir, about the progressive devolution of our human culture and the stages in which the pyramids were built. Why I suspect you might have something to say that we didn't go like this, but in a circle.
Yeah, thank
Would
you.
mind?
Not at all. It's the evolution to complete the cycle. We know that the 5 stages of the sun starts with Khepr, Ra, On, Aten, and Amen, and then come back to the sun. Now we are in the state of the end of that the evolution to come back to the light.
So these stages of the sun represent stages of the cycle of humanity.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's the stages of the sun. Yeah, like when I was born a child, and then I am that teenage adult, or you can call it, and then wise, and then wiser, and then the hidden.
So what are the what were people doing during these stages? You said the first one was 65,000
Yeah.
BC to 25.
The first one is 65,000 to 30 or 25,000 BC. The years here based on calendar man-made, and was some genius sit up on the mountain and begin to count sunrise, and there is a year, 365 cycle of the sun, and that makes a year. And so it's from 65,000 to 25,000. It's from Khepr to Ra, and from Ra to Un is 12,000, and from Un to Aten is 6,000, and from Aten to Ammon is the 6,000 years BC till now. We are still in the stage of Ammon. Yeah.
So what stage were the Great Pyramids at Giza
Uh,
constructed?
it's 25,000. The pyramids were erected in that state of Un.
How?
Yeah, thank you. أيوة. Yeah.
How?
How?
How'd they build them?
Now I consider the oldest pyramid Giza is Chafran. This is the oldest pyramid, and if we walk around this pyramid, we see a tremendous size of blocks, and one put next to each other, and by weight, which is I measure it by walking on, see how many yards in the square, it comes as a conclusion of 175 tons. So it's impossible to take that theory of Herodotus the Greek that we have used wooden rulers and brick ramps. I think as you saw that disc which found by Dr. Emery, Walter Emery, which is, he said that this is used for a lotus flower. I think it's a spanner. It spins and creates a sound, and with this sound vibration, deal with the earth gravity, and this is the only way makes that huge size of a stone weightless, and then with the tip of finger you can move it, not elevated, but it can be moved from place into another. At the Egyptian Museum, this disc is still there, and next to it, a mirror to double the power of the vibration of the sound to deal with the earth gravity. That's one way of building of moving the stones and put one upon the other. In my childhood, I climbed the pyramid, and when I'm up there at the top, which is, I don't know how did I make it. The capstone, that's what they call capstone. When I'm at the capstone, I found a tiny little book, pilot book, written on it, how to go down. Being me and stubborn at that time, I didn't leave the book where it is, but I took it with me. And yes, I didn't say to my mother, Nazira, no. I hide it, and somebody else have it now. So to go down, you not have to face the pyramid, but you face the space and go down by facing the empty space. And this is the only way I was protected by not falling down from the top of the pyramid. Interesting that there is no two pyramids alike. There's no two pyramids alike. When you go inside, you see different form of construction. Cheops pyramid is different from Chafran, different from Mycerinus, different from, but the similarities is there. The vibration, the sound, wherever you are, it makes that vibration of a sound, and that creates the energy which is needed then for the Sesh, the people of Khemit. Thank you. Any other question?
Thank you, Doctor, first of all.
Okay.
Thank you. Back to the two stones,
Yeah.
which became a Holy of Holies.
Mhm.
What period of time are you saying that this began to emerge into what became a temple complex?
Before the legend story, before the religion, before 65,000 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then, in a sense, what developed was the Trinity on top as a reflection of religions superimposed upon what basically was.
Well, actually, the Nile flood for many hundreds of thousands of years. And when the flood of the Nile removed ripples to the north, which makes the delta today, there are some small stones be moved with the water, some heavy stones remain where the bed of the Nile is. And this is the place where the water energized these blocks of stones. That is, I mean to say, it's the places is not chosen by somebody, the places is there naturally.
Then, in a sense, what with the Trinity that emerged above it, to follow the analogy, at least energetically, is that the triangle below it would be Mary.
Yeah, that's the triangle below the two blocks of stone.
So that's the womb for the resurrection. so to
The
speak.
womb of the earth itself, and the earth is a life being, and the beat, it can be measured somehow, like 8 hertz, the slowest beat, and this is the powerful cycle and of the earth itself.
So this became a place then to meet and to give back, and then to, in a sense, to die with awareness and consciousness in
Yeah.
initiation, and then to prepare for a new life
That's the place.
while embodied.
Exactly. You go and energize the body there. And women and men, there is no separation of sex then. The only separation of sex exists when men begin to write. You have to put, you're talking about man or woman by adding this feminine T in the language. And as far as I know, that the language doesn't help. The written language doesn't help much, but the fact is it's misguided misguided the people. Then you have one sentence or two sentences written on the wall, but the translation it depends on the individual, how you take it, how you understand it.
So that the spoken language would have been a different experience.
Yes, the spoken language
Would
is
have been understood depending on who was.
exactly. When we say language here, we address what we don't. When we say language, we're using the Greeks, les langues, the tongue. But actually, the language in the Khemitian mental is the vibration of the throat. If I'm talking to you, I'm using the vibration of my throat, reaches your hearing system, and that play with your chemical system, make you happy or other way.
Understand.
Yeah.
So the 5 holy days then, in a sense, were days to pay homage to the 5 phases.
No, this is
Your-
collected in the harvest. This is little before the festivals. The 5 days of the festival comes right after the harvest season. We have 3 seasons, not 4. So the year was divided in 3 seasons. The main season is the harvest season, where part goes to the house, another part goes to the temple. And then you are content that you have done what you're supposed to do. Then you go as a guest of God in the temple, having the feast in the temple, like cooked food and beer and wine. Yeah, interesting that in the temple of Komombo, on the wall, you see people when they waiting for the moment of that festival, where the priests carry the bark, where the shrine of veiled God is taking a place to.
Kamumba is the dialect of hieroglyphs that are found in Gosford. The dialect of the local region of the hieroglyphs is matched with translated to Komombo in Egypt.
To cycle the temple, circle the temple, people were waiting long time, so they talk freely, like sometimes you say bad words. And on the walls of Komombo temple, you have 2 ears on the wall. And perhaps this is what we call today, walls has ears. Yeah. So, like, I paid too much and, you know, something like complaining.
If stones could hear. Yes.
Yeah, there is a little niche where the high priest is sitting there listening to the... That's a fact. Now, I want you to know that the walls of the temple of today, it is the latest wall built on the same spot. The latest walls built on the same spot, like the temple of Komombo, which is I'm talking about, that's late period temple, maybe 300-400 years BC. But when you dig down below, you get to walls, say, 4,000 or 5,000 years BC. Yeah. So, you're welcome. Ptolemy, that is the Greek-Roman. And you see names of the Greek and Roman rulers on the walls in Egyptian hieroglyphic, in Egyptian Suf language. And I want to tell you that the Suf is the name of the language, written language in Egypt. And you may hear the phrase here in the European world, you say philosophies. Filio, the children of the Sufi, Filio Suf, the children or the people who take their education of Egypt or of Sufland. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm very delighted to meet the master of this living tradition that's I didn't know was living anymore. And I'd like to know more about how widespread is the practice of the ancient Khemitian tradition and what sort of practices are, devotional things are done by the people today there in Khemit.
Well, the traditions never die and it's still there. And it's alive in the language, which is we call the mother tongue. Like the prayers we say to the gods and where to face and how to do it. These are the traditions, they're still alive, still exist. Maybe we've been Arabanized. I want to tell you that Arabs came to Egypt in the late 7th century, 652 AD. And today, Egypt considered as one country of many Arab countries. No. Arab country, where the Arabs from is from the Arab Gulf. So you have Iraq and Israel, Palestine, Syria, Egypt, Sudan, North Africa. They addressed now as Arab countries, which they're not, they're different. But the ancient tradition is still there, and maybe they've been told to say it a different way. يا بيت الرب اللي في القلب في القلب. Meaning, oh house of God, what's in the heart is in the heart. Make me call you different name, but you are in my heart. That's one of the ancient traditions.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Hello, Hakim.
Hello.
I understand that in ancient Khemit, what we know today is the Hebrews were there long before the Old Testament states they were there. And I understand you've told me that there are words that are Hebraic only that are not Khemitian, that describe places and people in ancient Khemit. Could you just kind of share a couple of examples of that?
Yes. Hebrew is the name of the language of the Aten followers. And the alphabet of the Hebrew, which is Arabs have no alphabet. They take the Hebrew alphabet into Abjad, Hawas, Khotti, Kalaman, 28 letters of Arab. It's all taken from the Hebrew. And when you see the word Israel is written on stela, goes back to Ramses II, maybe Ramses III. Israel. It is written phonetically in Egyptian letters, in Khemitian letters. Israel. And of course, Israel means the slave of El. And El is a local god in a place called Ibla in the north of Syria. And that was the title to Jacob, when he went to Jerusalem, which is known then as Or Salim. There he was titled as Israel. So when I say Hebrews, I mean Judaism, Jewish. They are Egyptians. Moses is an Egyptian, isn't he? And in the Valley of the Nobles in Luxor, there is a place I would like to take you there under the name of Ramosa. Ramosa. Mosa is the birth of Ra. And this is in the 19th dynasty. And the figures on the walls are perfect up to now. And you see also the Canaanites and the people from that part, they're wearing different clothes and they have beards. And there are 12 of them. And there they come for Ramosa as a love visit to Egypt. And this place still exists, and it's under the name of Ramosa at the Valley of the Nobles, west of Luxor. So it's there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening, my dear.
It's a great pleasure to have you here this evening.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
I have a question concerning your understanding of the links between Osiris and the constellation Orion.
Uh-huh.
Some of the connections.
Yes, I understand. Yeah.
And I know that it's a very broad area in terms of ceremonial and some of the connections with the Great Pyramid. What is your interpretation?
Now, we have to correct this, because with the pyramids is many, as I say, there are 67 of them, 63 and 60, and there's some more haven't been. This is known pyramids, but the pyramids are 4 different names: Perneter, Perka, Per'a, and Perba. So which pyramid you mean?
You can select.
Well, Perneter, this is a construction built like instruments to produce energy. These energies can be used in a different sorts, different use. Yeah, that is, and this exists long time before the theory of Ptah and Osiris and Set and Nephthys. This is made by the Hanut.
So this predates
Yeah.
all of the myths.
Oh, yes, that predates all of the myths.
Thank you.
You're welcome. My friend.
Good evening, Doctor.
Good evening.
Thank you very much. It's been a tremendous honor to be in your presence this last few days. I've got 2 questions.
Go ahead.
The first one I'd like you to address after the second question.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is, I understand that you were familiar with the Japanese attempt to build a pyramid on the Giza Plateau.
Right.
I'd like you to speak to that. Second,
Right.
the first question I have is, if you're familiar with this old pyramid with Mark Lennon, when they built a 20-foot pyramid?
Yes.
The stonemason that was involved in the construction of this pyramid was a gentleman by the name of Roger Hopkins.
Hopkins, yes.
Roger sent me an email, and he told me that in the email that while he was in Egypt, the Egyptologist asked him about cutting granite using copper chisels.
Uh-huh.
And he said that they were crazy. Now, as we watch the workers hauling these rocks up the ramp, they're chanting something.
Yes.
Could you tell me what they're saying?
Yes. Well, the quarries in Khemit, Egypt, is still there, same places. The quarry, the grand quarries in Aswan, which is spread over about 6 square kilometers and is still used up to date. And there is the non-finished obelisk of they related to Hatshepsut, and what we see there is a tiny little, not holes, but a kind of hole is something to go through, but this is a pit, I can say. A pit to drive the material in there and wait for the flood of the Nile. They must have used other energy, but they drive a piece of wood into that opener. And when the Nile flood, the water reaches that wood and the wood expand. But the trick here, who is doing these things? The qualified stone masters. They know the layers. Now, of course, Aswan is volcanic rocks. And for a stone master, he can tell the layers of rocks where he can deal with it to break into a straight line and come with the huge pieces. This is what you see in the quarries. But to go to the Japanese pyramid, it was built about 1 kilometer to west-south of my house. And they have used cranes, and they come with not real stones, but gypsum made in addition to make the stone look big. And what happened is that the one before Hawass, his name is Dr. Ahmad Gadri, he was blamed by somebody like Farouk Hosni. How can you permit these people to do this? So when they're done with the picturing or taking a movie of it, they were requested to remove these blocks out of the area, and that was a big problem for them to move these blocks out of the area. And it takes about 1.5 months, 45 days to do this in a hurry. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for coming also. Do you feel that Isis and Osiris were actually beings, or do you think they were mythology?
It's mythology.
Mythology?
Yes, there's no beings.
Now we hear a lot about the temple teachings, the use of color and sound and music and scent. How could this be applicable to people today if to utilize in helping to raise spiritual consciousness?
Well, let me answer the last question here about the song for my friend Chris. Yeah, the chanting. It goes, Hela hop behela. That's how it goes. Hela hop behela. Hela. Maybe the Greeks use the same word. Hela though. Come with it. Let's do it. Some kind like that. And the chant in the temple, it goes with music. We have the oldest music instruments. The oldest harp exists in the world is a Khemitian harp. Also, another instrument known as the organ, arghul. It's bamboo with holes in it, and there's some reeds. It makes that noise. And there are a papyrus found about a musician priest in the temple of Philae. He was upset because there are new tune coming to the song and the initiation in the temple of Philae as the Hathor, the goddess of music. So he said, I'm not going to play. And this is registered in one of the papyrus. So Hathor temple in Isis temple in Philae connect a little temple or a small temple related to Hathor, and there is the float and the harp and the drums. And Mozart wrote his magic float is when he came to Philae. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And I want to explain the word Philae here. It's actually Pilak, that's the name, means the border, which is stands on the other end, Pilak. But when it's written in Greek, the H being added after the letter P, turn it into Phi, Phile. That's how they. No, that's in the Greek Roman language. They add the H, like Pharaoh, like the word Pharaoh, like Phillips.
Could you also maybe talk a little bit about the 3 days of in the tomb, when in the sarcophagus, when people would go into the next world? How was that done? And maybe something about mummification, how that was done?
This is related to what we call the Amadwat, the journey of the darkness. And this is to collect more income to the temple by the Hanut, by the priests. And they say they can help you with the light twinkling from the stars to show you the way to the other side. And it's well known what we call the book of. There is no book of the dead. It's just a text is written, invented by the Hanuti, the priests of the temple. And all what you have to do is to pay a little extra. And I'll tell you an interesting story about this. Middle Kingdom, that's what my colleagues, the archaeologists and the Egyptologists want to name it, the Dark Age or something like that. The head of the temple, or what we call the high priest, hired or used people he trusts, not qualified people to do the job. So in course of time, the people who pay half of the harvest to the temple, they didn't get what they've paid for, and that was a problem. So the temple have to attack the old cemetery and recycle the items which is necessarily needed to cover the needs of the temple, and that's what we call today cycling this stuff, by chiseling out the title of the old deceased and put new titles there. And this is where the idea of the Book of the Dead, when people complain, how this come? We're not going to pay no more. So I say, no. All what you have to do, pay a little extra. We write texts around your sarcophagus that protect you from the tomb robberies or something. That happens in the, say, 1700 BC.
Was there actually, pardon me, a physical process where people would go into the sarcophagus still breathing and still, alive, and through a period of 3 days, the body would somewhat die and they'd go into another dimension? I mean, do you know the physical process of that?
No, I know that everything done by the Hanut, the priests of the temple, and it is well prepared to put in a sarcophagus. The word sarcophagus, we haven't got it here. We just say perka, the house of the body. Sarcophagus is a Latin word or a Greek word, means the body eater, sarcophagus, and means the body eater. It eats the body, but Egyptians, because the atmosphere in Egypt permit the body remain in good conditions for ages. So the aim is to come back to life, like the disk of the sun. When it sits, it rises. It's the resurrection. In countries like moist countries like Asia, the theory switched into a reincarnation. You come back to life, but in a different form. I mean, you don't use the body. The body is done, like a vehicle, as you say, but it comes back in a butterfly or a frog or a crocodile.
How do they do the mummification, do you know?
Mummification is a big operation. There are 3 sections in the mummification, 3 parts. It's 42 days. The mummy has to stay in the temple for 42 days. The first day encountered when the deceased transferred from the house into the temple. And the last day from the temple into the necropolis. So what's left is 40 days, and we still celebrate the mourning days as 40 days, Yom al-Arba'in, and that's the 40 days. The mummification operation is simple as you see it. They open the stomach, take all the organs out, prepare it, the delicate parts of the body, put in 4 jars, half full of oil, which is oil is very expensive. It's valued as gold, and essential oil, yes, oil of the flower, and this flower only is the lotus, and when you see, excuse me, when you see the symbol of life is you have the lotus flower. It's because you dip that delicate parts of the body, the organs, into the jar. It's half full of oil, and you dip these organs in there. But the rest of the body, it's dipped in salt, natural salt, and wrapped up in layers and layers of linen. And that exists in the third stage, where people can use a textile and more instruments like costume jewelry, necklace, like beads, and the spirit or the soul. It's a human hidden body of vulture. So that's the initiation to bury the body with this one.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
This concerns my brother Arthur, who was a speaker at Giant Rock, a good friend of George Van Tassen. He pondered a riddle many times, and I don't know if he really got the answer, but he was pondering the question: the stone which the builders rejected has become the head of the corner. He wondered about that many times and talked with me about it. Do you have any ideas about that? What does it mean? What's it? The stone which the builders rejected has become the head of the corner.
You mean the cornerstone?
Well, I don't know what.
Or the capstone? The capstone is the last stone added to the construction for what we call today pyramid. It's the one piece of stone comes the last part, the upper part of that construction, which is we call pyramid today.
But why was the phrase used, the stone which the builders rejected? Why would it be rejected? Has become the head of the corner.
Maybe this, I don't know exactly what you want to say, but if the cornerstone is rejected, that means your theory or your idea is rejected as a cornerstone.
I see.
Yeah, it become a phrase to use, like I didn't drink the milk or something like that.
Good to see you here.
Thank you, sir. Karina.
Who built the pyramids?
Who built the pyramids?
Aywa.
The people.
And who are the people?
The Sesh of Khemit.
And what background would they be?
The background of...
What's their heritage? Are they African? Are they Mediterranean?
They are blend.
Right.
They are blend. This is the oldest melting pot in the world, still alive, is what we call Egypt today, and it's formerly known as El Khemit. From now on, we say chematology. Thank you. Yeah.
And what happened that this high civilization that had built these monuments or these instruments, and I'd like you to also address what they were used for specifically. A small question. What precipitated, I mean, to this bringing down of this knowledge? Is it lost?
No, it's not lost. As far as I know, we have more than 5 senses, and the temples, you can call a temple, church, mosque, Buddha, whatever. This is misguide the people, and the misguiding here based on greed. Knitters create our planet with plenty place and food for all creatures, but greed drive us to another aspects, which is we may call wars, fights, and hate. So let's say one word to be repeated twice together. Say with me, yakini, yakini.
Yakini, yakini.
Thank you, yakini, yakini. This is the word, this is the magic word. You'll be, I'm protected by my positive. It doesn't matter how size I am, how strong I am, but I'm positive. I'm protected by my positive. Say it again. Yakini, yakini.
Yakini, yakini.
Thank you.
Can I make an editorial comment?
Please.
If we go into the matriarchal lineage, which we maybe is another talk, and the idea for the Sesh knew that the only one you can be sure of your birth is your ma, the one who gives you birth. And so it wasn't a matter of loving the son or daughter more or less. It's if you're thinking of the other day, the resurrection day, you want to leave your property through a line where you can be sure that it's your relation. It wasn't a matter of somebody being superior. So also, maybe I would like to hear you talk a little bit about the ability of the people through the thymus gland to choose their seating, so that part of the explanation for why the society at that time that was able to build the pyramids, the Perneter, that were Perneter built on the giant Perba, were done by people that had no self-consciousness of what we're suffering today, and looking at the physical as the main aspect of being. And then the reason, if this is taken away, of what those things were meant to be used for. Mesh?
Yes, ماشي شكرا يا حبيبتي. This is a very interesting subject. My mother is sure, 100%, I'm her birth, but is my father? That's the question. So the difference between father and mother is that word of matriarch and patriarch. In Khemitian traditions is a matriarch, and for the boy to be born, is very grateful to his mother that gave him a birth. I want to add here something very interesting, which is my colleagues are confused about Upper and Lower Egypt crown. There is no Upper and there is no Lower Egypt crown. What we see on the head of the man, like a bottle, it's the thymus in the woman's body. And this thymus, it is the only secure if she accepts the sperm of the man she loves. And if she doesn't accept it, the thymus can kick that sperm out. And you don't need birth control stuff. It's the mother doing the, she has the choice, and she that's why this symbol on the man's head is to show how grateful his mother accept him and give him a life.
And the other that it sits in sometimes?
Yes, it sits what we call lower Egypt crown, which is reddish. That's the womb. Yeah, so the thymus and the womb are together, a team together.
The ba and the ka of seating.
The ba and the ka, yes. So,
And there's a little curling.
the reed of the life, the life symbol is a little reed comes out of the thymus, and nobody explained that reed before, and there's no name for it except the reed, which is grows plenty on the river, and one of these symbols in the Khemitian letters is the E or I or Y. It looks like a comb. So this is part of that reed, the symbol of life from the water.
Why do the male Netru have bull tails?
Thank you.
All of them.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, the fact is that the male are proud to be titled as the bull of his mother. I am the bull of my mother. So when men were killed, they related to the kilt built a bull tail. So he's honored to be the bull of mother, and proud of being the bull of his mother. And that's the title for almost all the men you see there. Scenes, the carvings on the walls, you see something like this, and the bull tail related from the back of his kilt belt into the a little below the knee. And the mother is always sitting on the chair like this part to here, that show the high level of the woman.
And what's the male symbol then that would be with that seat, that chair for the woman?
The eye.
She's the stationary place, the head of the house.
The eye is the man who supports the house with wood. You know, wood in Egypt are very rare. So he's the...
Why is it just an eye?
Well, that's the main part used in the man is the eye, so for protection. Well, not protection of what, but it's just the vision can help. You know, I can see by my sense places located in the other side of the planet. And these senses we didn't lost. It's in us, we still, but it's shrink like muscles you don't use. And that's the aspect we're coming at when we ended from the darkness of Amen.
So before the abuses of the temple, which were wrought by the natural dimming of our senses for a certain period, which is the cycle of nature, things going in a circle. So we've been in that dark stage, coming into a new Khepr stage, right? Renew the light.
Yeah, we're coming back to
So when we were in that high, that bright, wise stage, building these pernetter, what was the purpose of these? What was the function of these?
Oh, a different function. It's energy that you can melt stone with. There's another energy that you can energize yourself with. And there's lots and lots of different energies mankind need for survive.
And what about beyond in connection to the stars?
Well, one of them is connected to many other stars like Nibiru and other. Yeah, we're not alone. I mean,
You care to say which one corresponds to communication with which system?
that is a Khufu pyramid. That is the one connected to for connection.
Okay.
That's
is that the Pleiadian?
well,
You've got one Nibiru.
there is no word mentioning Pleiadians in the Egyptian, in the Khemitian language. So maybe it's there. And we have named things which is the ancient Khemitian doesn't hear about up to now.
I'll let you have the hook.
Afwan, Habib. I thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We've had people speaking about several different kinds of energy which might have been used to move the blocks: electromagnetic, ultrasonic, hydraulic. Do you have any thoughts on how the blocks might have been moved?
I don't think the power which is alchemicians used to move the block, but to make it weightless, to deal with the what is a piece of rock, say, weight 280 tons? It's the gravity. So when we deal with the bisonic sound against the gravity of the earth, then you have this huge block of a stone weightless, and that's the only one. All what you have to do is just tip it with your finger the way you want to put it. And very interesting that when you look at the pyramid construction, you see huge blocks of stone stick together. You can't even drive a razor blade in there. So that's the only way to move the block and put the correct the situation of the block, and then switch this energy off, and it's there. It sits with its weight onto the gravity of the Earth.
So you're suggesting that it's predominantly ultrasonic, which allows you to create an anti-gravity?
Yeah.
And then are you saying also that the ultrasonic would be part of the drilling, such as Christopher Dunn discussed this morning?
Mm-hmm. I believe that, and it's there. I mean, that's the only way my people in the ancient time deal with the weight of the stone, was creating such a vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind where the vibrations come from, like that disc we saw. It's a disc made of schistostone, and schistostone is the hardest stone you can get. And the main question is how to make such a piece. But this piece is made to spin. When it spins, it makes that sound, and this sound makes vibration, and the vibration deal with the gravity of the Earth.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Was the car built before or after the
Oh, long time after.
Hello, Doctor. Thank you for coming so far to give us this talk.
Thank you.
I was wondering, I talked to somebody that had talked to you in Egypt, I think about a month or two ago, and he said, well, obviously you're running into problems with some of the your European trained and continuing practicing colleagues in Egyptology, and I was wondering how that manifested. He also said that he thought you had been somehow been the victim of some kind of physical assault because of this.
Well, I'd be honored to know the name of this person.
His name is Devon, I think.
David?
No, Devon.
My memory is.
Well, maybe you could address the first part of the question: is what kind of problems have you run into with your European-trained Egyptologist colleagues in your country, and what problems do they have with you, or do you have any kind of debate with them publicly?
I myself have no problems with anybody, and I think the system, sometimes system wherever you are, in America or in Khemit, Egypt, or in China, the system always is the rock on the way. Which is, you need to be an acrobat to cross it.
And for some reason, Mr. Aho had asked me, he wanted to ask me to ask a question about, he seemed to think there was a precedent for the Ark of the Covenant whereby there was some kind of device earlier, object that had the same effect on people. That it was Egyptian, that if people that were not authorized or of the faith had touched it, it would kill them or harm them.
Oh, well, there's many people has different theories about this subject. Like I know a friend. He think his own body is located somewhere in the Great Pyramid of Giza. So there's plenty of these theories. I'm spiritual and I'm a healer, but I didn't go that far to see.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hi, Doctor. This question is going to you and also any of the other speakers that spoke earlier on this morning. As we all know, similar type of artifacts, such as pyramids and other type of buildings, have been found on the surface of Mars. And wanted to know whether or not within your background, tradition, or any of the other speakers, do you have any idea or notion of any interconnection between the pyramids and the structures on Mars and the one on Giza, because it lends itself to some sort of an inquiry. I've read numerous places in channeled information, for example, that the pyramids were used, for example, for interdimensional travel, as well as different kind of initiatory purposes in secret schools, as it were.
Well, I may tell you that I haven't been yet to Mars. but there are similarities from, where our solar system has many planets around, and there are similarities, and we're not alone. Could be. I have seen pictures made by NASA that the Sphinx is there also. And the picture, you can play with the photograph, but when you see that photograph, it looks like a human face on the Mars. So why not pyramid if there is a Sphinx?
Anything in terms of the sacred geometry that would suggest it will be a type of structure that would have any correlation with the one on Giza in Egypt?
I don't think you may see one on any other planets except like the one at Giza, but you may see it here. For example, if I look from my room window, I see lots of pyramids around. If you look to the horizon, you see some pyramids natural made. It's of course the remain of the water. Water makes layers and it looks like a piece of construction, but it's natural made. You can see that lot in Abu Simbel, for example. That is, Abu Simbel is a place located between Wadi Halfa and Aswan. There's many pyramids, natural made like this. So why not on the Mars?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hello.
I want to join everyone in welcoming you and thanking you so much for sharing your wisdom with us.
Thank you.
You spoke of this life and the other life. And you as an enlightened being, I was wondering if you communicate with beings or entities in the other life. And you are now in incarnation in physical form. When you completely go to the other life, will you be aware that you're going to ahead of time, or do you want to share some of that? It's a little personal. But
I know, but I want to tell you a fact that my mother sometimes comes to my dreams, and this is the only connection I have with people in the other life. But it's possible to have that connection with many beings. That our beings now is possible to connect other beings you have in the mind. The difference between mind and the brain, that you can stretch your mind, but you can't do this with your brain. Brain is logic, but the mind, you can stretch it, you can see a lot of things, and it's time to use the mind.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Edith. I want to hear, ladies and gentlemen, to announce brochure. We have brochures of Karina and I making a trip to Egypt in October, and
And there we have it, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. And that is Hakim Awyan and the whole tradition of Khemit. Thank you so much. Bye now.